Hey, what's up, guys? Listen, bringing you some new information in the Shanquella Robinson case. You guys, we need to focus on Nazeer Wiggins. I know a lot has been said about Dejanay Jackson. Go watch my videos about that. We know kind of what's going on with the Shanquella case and how things seem to be not at a standstill, but there's something going on that we all don't understand. I am, just to let you guys know before I continue, I'm going to have a legal expert that has dealt with many extraditions, many criminal cases, and literally knows constitutional law, which is what you need when you're dealing with treaties, like the back of their hand. I'm interviewing them tomorrow. Turn on your notifications. The interview will drop tomorrow. I'm going to try to keep it as one. It might be two parts. Turn your notifications on because I think that he's going to help us clear up a lot of questions and also give some really new insight. I was talking to him on the phone and he even told me some stuff that I was like, that's a good point. But let's get back to Nazeer Wiggins, okay? Let's talk about what his mom said. Why it seems like Nazeer's life is shrouded with the angel of death. The mother actually says that 4 people passed away. And why even Nazeer's past, this man is not even 25 and he has already 19 criminal cases, 19 or 20 criminal charges and cases against him in his short lifespan. Again, and also why everybody thinks that, and by everybody, I mean me, that Nazeer might be cooperating with the police, what the mom says, and how much that police protection that federal protection of being, I guess, a witness, alibi, whatever, will actually protect him. All right, let's get into this. Okay. So the scene of the crime, this is coming directly from the North Carolina beat. As I have stated before, no one in this case, even the Mexico Attorney General, has not released the name of whose name is even on the warrant. Now, of course, we all saw the video. We can guess probably it's Dejanay Jackson's name, but everything from the police report to the video being circulated to what the parents felt, they were all broken by local reporters, either in Mexico or in North Carolina beat. The North Carolina beat does know more people on the ground and local culture. So they are reporting, right? And I tend to believe that they are more credible than not because they actually know these people or know people that know these people. That this account, that it was a Don Costner. A lot of people thought this couldn't be Nazeer's mom because I did a background check on her and Nazeer's mom's name is actually Tierra Dawn Wiggins. Dawn is her middle name. This is on all Nazeer's records. Interesting enough, I did actually think, was Dejanay maybe a foster child or was she not raised by her parents? Because in every single background check on all the Cabo 6, you got family information, you got relative information. Oddly enough, Dejanay had none of that. Now, that could mean that she grew up in the system and she had a foster family and that she was never adopted. Or it could mean, and I'm being serious, this is from me talking to people that know a little bit about federal cases and criminal justice, that maybe they wiped the internet clean of her information for whatever reason. I find that to be, it's not that it can't happen, but again, and Shanquella's case is super, super tragic, but there are bigger monsters, not to say this one's big or small, but people that are serial killers, that information is still on public media. I don't know why the FBI would go this far as to wipe Dejanay Jackson's information, because at the end of the day, what is she except for some 2-bit petty murderer? Do you see what I'm saying? So I tend to believe that she actually did grow up without a family. Anyway, we do have Nazeer Wiggins' moms. She uses Don Costner as her Facebook page. The pictures on the page do match up. This page has been in existence for a while. It didn't just pop up like those phantom Instagram accounts and these other things claiming to be Winter or Dejanay or whatever. This Facebook account has been active for a while. So it leads me to believe, why would somebody imitate her, dox her, get her private information, tag her friends and relatives, do all this stuff, and it's been going on for years. You see what I'm saying? So I tend to believe more likely than not that this report from the North Carolina beat is credible to a certain extent. Anyway, they're showing the screenshots that said, of course, and they did, when there's, so somebody's like, hey, they killed Shanquella. Nazeer's mom replies, of course they did, but he good. We have God on our side. My son lost 4 people that week. My nephew, my cousin, and my aunt died that same week. That beautiful baby lost her life. My son was going there to have fun, but ran into some BS and was blindsided by all this. So he told his truth. They just need to tell theirs. Now, you guys, again, how is it that the angel of death was so heavy on the Cabo 6? It might be some weird, sick coincidence. But the fact that Nazeer lost 4 family members in 1 week, again, it doesn't have to be something criminal. Maybe it was some tragic car accident. But you lost 4. But then let's also not forget that Alyssa's older sister was also killed that morning of when they left Cabo. The angel of death is hanging real heavy. And now we're looking at 5 people. I hope the investigators are looking into it. It seems to be like more than a coincidence. But again, and also when you look at Nazeer's files, he has over 20 criminal complaints against him. Now, to be honest, right? 40% of them are speeding, driving without a license, shoplifting, but there are more serious offenses too. Could it be that not Shanquella, but could it be that a lot of the kids that she went on vacation with were surrounded by crime, were surrounded by a lifestyle where life didn't mean much? Again, I am just speculating. This is nothing against anybody's family members, but when somebody is murdered in cold blood, and then the second step is 6 other people are there, and 6 other people seem to either help with a cover-up or at the very least be very quiet about what they actually saw, it makes you wonder, what were those other kids into and what type of lifestyle were they involved in? Because who before the age of 24 has over 20 criminal offenses against them? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, right, let's get into the second part. And I wonder if there is some link to 5 people. 1 died the morning that they left, dying, right? 1 was murdered. The other 4, we don't know how they lost their lives, but they were there. But I will say that he ran into some BS and was blindsided. He told his truth. Now, she did say, now, here's the thing. It goes on to say, Dawn said, stop listening to anything on the internet and the news. We just talked to the FBI yesterday. This was on December 3rd. People are assuming it was December 2nd, but yesterday, you know how people use the word yesterday. It could have been anywhere, like in the past week. Like, we just talked to them, but let's just take her for her word. We just talked to the FBI yesterday, who cleared my son, so I don't give a F about what they're saying. We got all the facts, and it's not true. Videos and all, so I know it's not true, right? Now, this is what the mom also goes on to say, the TikTok page is a fake page. People that made fake pages with his face. They're tripping. My son's not suicidal. He's just fed up. And I want my son to be cleared. She then went on to say, his lawyer has him, but thank you for your concern. And he's aware. I raised my son to stand on his own. He's not worried about friends. He don't owe none of them anything. He's good. He just wants his name cleared. And they will have to pay for what they did. Just leave it out of there. Now, here's the thing, which is so interesting. And let me just read you the North Carolina Beat article, because they have some interesting things to say. And then I'll get into my synopsis, because they say word on the court is Nazeer Wiggins' mom is sticking with the story her son got on Instagram and told the world, claiming he was not inside the villa when Shanquella Robinson was killed. Somebody hopped into Nazeer Wiggins' mother's Facebook inbox acting like they were really concerned. He goes on to note, too, that her government name is Tara Dawn Wiggins, but however, he confirms also, and he is a local reporter that broke this story, that for whatever reason, more likely than not, she uses Don Costner. Now, he goes on to say that the North Carolina Beat goes on to surmise he's not cleared. You cleared him, right? They say, let's be clear. If Nazeer told the same story to the FBI he told the world on Instagram, you could most likely believe he will not see freedom in his future. Tara also cleared up rumors that Nazeer was having suicidal thoughts with a fake TikTok account. She did say she had an attorney. I'm just recounting what he said. Tara said her son wants to be able to grieve the loss of Shanquella, in her words, his friend. They said it's unclear if Tara is blowing smoke or is she serious about what she's saying. Just because you tell the police your side of the story and they leave without arresting you does not mean you have been cleared. Authorities make you think you're cleared, but the evidence must prove you were not at the scene. Okay, so yes, to a certain extent, I agree with what the North Carolina beat is saying, but I just want to actually bring this up, right? Nazeer Wiggins is no stranger to the law. He would know how cooperation looks. The mom, when she said that he was cleared, could actually be talking about him being cleared by the FBI, saying that he signed some type of cooperation agreement, and in exchange for his testimony, no charges will be filed for him. That is often common in investigations. But here's the thing that keeps hanging in my mind with the FBI saying they're cleared. We don't know what the FBI has talked to other people. I would assume that when they thought they were going to get away with it, everybody was sitting there acting like they were in like episode 10 of The Godfather and being quiet and being like, that's right, loyalty over everything, and drinking margaritas in the airport, waiting for their flight home, right? Before they hopped, skipped, and jumped over to the mother's house like some demons. And Winter, Dejanay, and Khalil sat in their face lying, saying there was no fights and this and that, until the mother, according to her, confronted Khalil and he started sweating bullets. But let's actually think about this, because there is something what everybody's saying about, does Nazeer's story make sense? He claims that he arrived around 2:36 Cabo time. Fine, let's just say it's right. He claims that he got there around 3:26. Funny thing, at 2:31, that's when they called the front desk. Interesting, right? Now, this plane arrived at 2:36. However, we all know when planes arrive, if you do travel frequently, your arrival time is you touch down on the tarmac and do all that stuff before your arrival time. They make sure to let everybody off the plane so you can be in customs or whatever by 2:36. Because just because you arrived at, the plane says it arrived at 2:36, it could have basically touched down probably at 2:40. Because when I know you touch down and then you're on the plane for like a good 10, maybe 15 minutes waiting to go, right? So 2:36, let's just say it touched down at 2:15. It's interesting that one thing that the police report and also the Mexico authorities by the leaks seem to be co-signing on is the fact that there was a call made at 2:31 to the front desk, asking them to send somebody because the friend has alcohol poisoning. The front desk then said, well, hold on, we have a clinic we work with. Let me go grab the doctor. And the doctor arrived about an hour later, which one, if you know enough to say that your friend has alcohol poisoning, why would you wait an hour? The one thing we're forgetting is alcohol poisoning is very, very serious. In that hour, they could die. You need to rush them to the hospital. It makes you think. A lot of people said that when whoever was holding the phone, the mom thinks it's Winter Donovan. The Mexico authorities seem to think it's Winter Donovan. When you're holding the phone, you see that there is something on the screen. A lot of people said, no, that's just filming. To which I said, no, because when you film on an iPhone, it takes up the whole screen. Whoever was filming, it wasn't filming. It was a FaceTime, because FaceTime only takes up like half of the screen. It never takes up the whole screen. Half of the screen is black. So they weren't filming, they were FaceTiming. That man appears to be a certain complexion, almost the same complexion as Nazeer. Now, oddly enough, and I don't want to start any mess, right? But I'm just saying what I saw. Nazeer, when he did that video, when he had his hat on and he was leaning into the camera, I think he was in his bathroom trying to plead his innocence. I believe at that point he'd already talked to authorities, but when he was trying to plead his innocence, to me it kind of looks like that person that was in that FaceTime. Maybe they let Nazeer know what was going on, maybe, but again, maybe that's not Nazeer, but it is a man that looks like he has a hat on and looks like he's about Nazeer's complexion. Oddly enough, they're on the phone and there's a call to the front desk around the time that Nazeer's plane is supposed to be landing. But we all know planes arrive actually in touchdown earlier than their actual scheduled arrival time. We also know that even though Nazeer wasn't there when the murder was committed, you still got there in time where, according to the autopsy, Shanquella had passed. We do know from the medical professionals that have talked about it, and also the medical professionals that have been in the comments, rigor mortis starts to set in immediately. And rigor mortis, when your whole body stiffens, and the body temperature starts to lower. And by 2 or I believe 3 hours later, it is complete. You are literally completely stiff. If he got there at 2:36, no, I'm sorry, he said it took him an hour to get to the villa. That means he arrived before the nurse got there. The nurse said that she arrived around 3:31, I believe, in the afternoon. Now, the nurse is a liar, so who knows how much of it's true, but let's just go by the story that everybody's sticking to, especially Nazeer. The nurse arrived around 3:30. Nazeer, even by your own estimate that it took you an hour to get to the villa, and by your own live, you yourself said out your mouth that you arrived before the nurse did. We now know it wasn't a nurse, it was a doctor, but Nazeer thought it was a nurse because it was a woman, and maybe she didn't look like what he thought a doctor would look like. So you got there before. But you definitely got there around 3 o'clock. She had just had the injury at 3 o'clock, and she died. So the injury happened at 2:45 approximately, and she died at 3 o'clock. That means you had to, and that means that you're expecting us to believe that these people saw her converse, right? And when that type of thing, you're basically all your organs are starved from air. You have a seizure, sphincter releases. There's 4 sphincters in the body. One is separating the throat from the stomach. Another one, of course, is in the anus. You relieve yourself, all this stuff. Do you mean to tell us that she was in the master bedroom? You arrived. She died exactly at 3. And in that time, the friends were able to get her up, dress her, drag her down to the family room. Okay? You arrived somewhere between 3 and 3:30 before the nurse came, right? Drag her down to the family room. You arrive. Everybody tells you it's alcohol poisoning. It's funny, they got this alcohol poisoning lie going on. Everybody tells you it's alcohol poisoning. You then say that you sit down with Shanquella, talk to her, but she's like gargling. She's not really responsive. Talk to her, rub her head, put on Summer Walker, and just try to make her feel better. I do want to know this, though. One thing that stuck in my head was, have you ever had alcohol poisoning? I haven't, but have you ever been like drunk in my younger days? Yes. Where you're to the point of being sick. Have you ever wanted somebody to put on music and rub your head when you're going through a hangover? Let alone alcohol poisoning, which you all know out. But have you ever known somebody to want to put music on while you're going through a hangover? That's the first thing. And the fact that he said, I put on Summer Walker. Again, he could have remembered that detail because, of course, there was a death involved. But I find it odd that when somebody says they're going through alcohol poisoning, and even if it's a tough hangover, that you put music on for people and rub their head. He also says that he didn't notice her lip was busted, her face was swollen. Now, the medical officials also said they couldn't notice until the autopsy because she had darker skin. But Nazeer, you're Black. You know what a bruise looks like. You know what a bruise, with 20 arrests, you know what a bruise looks like. You are a kid. You've gotten bruised yourself when you were younger, maybe riding a bike, play fighting, whatever. You know what bruised Black skin looks like. The fact that he sat there and said that he was rubbing her head, you didn't notice the knots on her head, that he turned on Summer Walker, and he literally turned her to the side and put a bag down, right? You turned her to the side and you put a bag down. This is all in a body that, according to the autopsy, had left this earth at 3 o'clock. And again, let's think about it. Nazeer walks in, talks to Shanquella. He says she's just like, was in a bad way. But she wasn't that responsive. So you're trying to say she was alive. You then turned her to the side, right? Put a bag down, I guess to catch the throw up. Turned on Summer Walker and was rubbing her head. And you did this all between leaving the airport, which you said was an hour ride, between 2:36 and an hour will be 3:26, right? Let's just say the nurse says she showed up at 2:31 or 2:30 exactly. So, and they also got her dressed and lifted her downstairs. Where did this time come from? I don't know about y'all, But have you guys ever tried to move someone heavy? Right? I'm not talking on some I know what you did last summer mess. I'm talking about if somebody faints or if somebody's sick or you need to help them up on the couch. Even helping somebody that's even a little sick back into a chair or back in a bed. People are heavy. Do you know how much weight a dead body is, even between one or two people carrying a dead body, carrying, or even somebody unresponsive? Now, Shanquella only weighed 100 pounds, but you need more people involved in the dressing. Again, getting a little kid dresses a lot. You need more people involved in the dressing. You need more people involved in the carrying downstairs than just Desiree Jackson. You need at least, I would guess, definitely one other person. I'm thinking at least two, maybe even four, because somebody had to take a hand, arm, leg, and get her down there. Again, she's completely done. You got her dressed, you did all that, and all in time for Nazeer to do this moment where he was really there. Now, what seems more likely, if Nazeer's story can be believed, he touched down earlier than 2:36. That was the schedule. His plane arrived earlier. He got to the villa earlier. But if you got to the villa earlier, that means you would be there around the time of death. And if you were around their time of death, that means you witnessed the fight, doesn't it? Or you witnessed people. Nobody talked about the fight. Nobody told you about the fight. You didn't see the busted lip. You didn't see the bruises coming out when you were rubbing her head. You turned her to the side. Okay, fine. But how about this? There is also that thing that they said that Shanquella's friends refused her going to the hospital. Refused. Nazeer wasn't there for that conversation. Nazeer didn't say, how come we're not taking her to the hospital? Nazeer didn't think that it was, let's also forget also, since Nazeer had nothing to do with this and was so innocent, Nazeer didn't think that it would be appropriate after a woman that he calls as a friend died. Nazeer didn't think it was appropriate to pay respect for the family or actually go to the family's home when he touched down. He didn't think that was appropriate. Even if he didn't live in the same city, he didn't think it was appropriate to reach out to the family and send condolences. He didn't think it was appropriate. He just disappeared, then popped up on Facebook Live talking about smoking a blunt, talking about y'all need to stop it. I wasn't even there. Let me tell y'all what happened. Nazeer, again, I'm not saying he had anything to do with it. I am saying that his story does not add up. I say all this to say that's the perfect person. That's the perfect person to turn a state's witness. You were there to witness all the conniving. You were there to witness the covering up. You were there to hear the conversations, the worry, the planning, the plotting. But at the end of the day, you were maybe, perhaps, we'll see what happens in the investigation, because like the NC Beat says, I do have to say, the government does not say you're cleared unless you sign some paper saying in exchange for your testimony, no charges will be brought against you. I am not certain that Nazeer actually signed that. His mother sounds like he might have. We'll see what comes out into the wash. But Nazeer actually is the perfect person to actually turn state's witness or Fed witness, because you weren't there when the actual crime was committed, but you were there to hear everybody planning, plotting. You could tell what people said, what they did, the funny way they were acting. This is a real possibility. Again, let's get into Nazeer's background. There's not much of a work history on him. Of course, he's young, and he's been in court. He's been in court a lot, but he's also been in school. So maybe, I don't know, he didn't really have to work that much. He had charges on August 11, 2017, December 4th, 2018, December 2nd, 2015, April 13th, 2014, October 29th, 2016, January 14th, 2022, May 2nd, 2015, May 11th, 2015, another charge. These are three charges, all filed on May 11th, 2015. They are all criminal. There was also something on July 15th, 2016, going in January 14th, 2022, October 22nd, 2020, October 21st, 2020, December 4th, 2018, two charges on December 4th, 2018, and also on October 21st. These are actually pending. This is pending. What happened? These are open cases. We also have something on August 11th, 2017, again, August 8th, 2017, August 29th, 2016, July 15th, 2016, three charges on July 15th. One was dismissed. The other one was actually prosecuted. February 22nd, 2016, February 13th, 2016, December 2nd, May 11th, again, May 8th, May 8th, May 8th. These are all different charges. April 12th, 2014. You guys, Nazeer is no stranger to the law. And again, I know everybody says, watch who you hang around. I do not believe that these people were friends. I do believe that they were psychopaths. I think there are, and that's what's so scary about life. There's some things you can't plan for. It's like saying, like, watch who are you around, and then you go on a date and somebody kills you. At the end of the day, we have to live with a little mediocre of trust. I have to trust that I can meet somebody for dinner after talking to them on the phone and meet them for dinner and trust they don't have intention to kill me. Okay? Just because I went to dinner with someone does not mean I expected to get murdered. I say all this to say, again, maybe Nazeer is he has some type of deal in exchange for his testimony. I 100% believe that is true. I think that's why he's so big and bad and the only one on social media. I think that's why the moms on social media clapping back. I don't think they cleared him of all charges, but I do believe he has an agreement that in exchange for his testimony and his knowledge, no charges will be filed. Now, again, before I go, I just want you to know I am interviewing an expert in extradition, criminal, and even whether America can press charges here, what those charges might be, and all this stuff. It's going to be a fantastic conversation. If you want to get into the nitty-gritty details with some surprising things, just let me know. What am I saying? Turn on notifications on because I'm doing it regardless. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments, and I will talk to you later.